Hello everybody, thank you for checking out my video. This little short here took me a good 2 days to put together, and I've got a couple more cooking on the pot. Just want to say thank you for checking it out, and be sure to like and subscribe. That stuff really helps me want to continue doing this kind of stuff. Thank you very much. The Midnight Beach by Reece Pendered. Like and subscribe. Deep in the woods, two friends, Hank and Tom, are crossing through a pitch-black, dense woodland, heading back home from a day out exploring the woodlands. The two are struggling to traverse the woodlands in the dark, and they have decided to stop to catch their breaths and rethink how they will return home. After discussing their options, Tom suggests they should double back and head out the woodlands using the beach to get home. It would take them only 30 minutes. Hank hesitates and is sure that they could make it through the forest safely if they could just take the time and move carefully and slowly. Tom and Hank argue for a while, with Hank finally giving up and agreeing to double back with Tom and take the beach front back towards home, and they begin walking back together. After several minutes, the two reach the tree line that leads out to the dark open beach that is barely illuminated by the moonlight and the reflection from the ocean. The two make their way out of the tree line and out into the opening leading up to the beachfront area, and begin to look up and down the beach, seeing only sand as far as the very little light would allow them. They both begin to walk across the beach to get home, and are just able to see the dim light of the town at the other end of the beach, and very little light is provided to them other than the moonlight itself. As they walk down the dark beach with barely any light, the two friends begin chatting away to pass the time and take their minds off the long, exhausting walk across the beach. Almost an hour passes, and the two friends suddenly stop talking and stand silent. Tom points towards the light coming from town, realizing that they have barely moved, even though they have been walking forever. Hank looks around and can just barely make out the forest tree line that looks equally as far away as the light coming from the town. Hank and Tom become concerned and a little puzzled as to what's going on right now. They decide to put a jog on in hopes of getting home a bit faster and proceed to start running towards the light from town. After several intense minutes of running towards the dim light coming from the town, Hank and Tom stop, exhausted and struggling for breath. They slowly regain their stamina, control of their breathing, and look off into the distance towards the town, only to realize they have not moved at all from the beach. They both look back to check the footprints in the sand to find nothing, as if they've never taken a step. By this point, the two realize something very wrong is going on here, and the feeling of being powerless washed over them. They look at each other, both with an expression of fear in their faces. Hank tells Tom to walk towards the town while he will walk back towards the tree line in hopes that one of them might be able to escape the beach and get help. Tom turns to look at Hank directly in the eye with a pissed off expression and tells him that he does not want to be on the beach any longer then, and wants to go with him towards the tree line of the forest. Hank sighs and agrees that they will try for the tree line together, and hopefully they can escape the beach this way. The two regain their motivation and begin to walk towards the tree line. After walking for an unknown amount of time, the two feel as if they've been drained of all their energy the further they walk towards the forest tree line. Exhausted, Tom collapses face first into the sand, small rocks, seashells. Hank runs over to Tom to help him back to his feet. As he begins to help Tom, he notices a small amount of cuts and gashes all over Tom's head and face from the fall. Hank, now left with no choice but to get out his phone and call for medical help for Tom, only to realize that his phone is completely out of power. He then tries to use Tom's phone, only to find it is also without a power. Tom is unconscious at this point and is losing an abnormal amount of blood from his various wounds. Hank tries his best to use the medical kit they have with them for camping, but is unable to stop the major blood loss coming from the wounds. After several minutes of doing everything he could to stop the bleeding from Tom's wounds, Hank realized that Tom had stopped breathing and was gone. In despair, Hank cried for his deceased friend and wished they would have just continued his way into the woods and likely would have made it home. Hank sits down on the beach with his friend Tom for the last time and drinks the last of the whiskey in his bag, hoping that daylight will free him.